All right, we are here, morning of the second day of the Hoosier. We're going to talk to some people, get some good advice, hopefully. Here we go. All right, so who do we have here? Say your name and how long you've been flying.
Karl from Monterey, California.
John Karl from Monterey, California. Okay, what advice would you give to a new flyer, someone who's just starting out?
I would say keep it small, buy the best birds you can afford, don't get too many birds, and buy a few birds from the best quality and develop a family, and then add birds gradually as a cross to that family of pigeons. That would be my advice.
That is excellent advice. That's very solid. So, what do you think is the most challenging aspect to like developing a family?
Finding a good bird.
Okay.
Within every family, there's always a key pigeon. There's always a key pigeon, and you want to gravitate to that key pigeon all the time. And Bing Crosby's brother couldn't sing, so people that would hire him to sing wouldn't get a very good deal. So it's kind of the same way with pigeons. You don't want brothers and sisters. You want the one that performs and produces, if you can get them.
Yeah.
And children from that particular bird, in my opinion.
Got it. So you have a direct link to performance.
Yes.
Yes.
Performance and take good care of your birds. Give them good feed, good grit. I happen to feed cheap feed and cheap grit, and my lofts are completely open. I have no walls, and so my birds are completely exposed to the elements. And I live in California, of course.
Yeah.
And I rarely ever have a sick pigeon, ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for that solid advice. Appreciate that.
Good job, buddy.
Scott Parrish, Ropar Loft out of Alexandria, Indiana. Been flying pigeons about 15 months. Probably biggest mistake I had my first year was I babied my young birds way too much at the beginning. There's a fine line, James, between, not being stupid and putting your birds out when the winds are 30 miles an hour and ripping, but you can't baby them and leave them in, because then all of a sudden you've got 90-day-old pigeons that haven't been anywhere. They're too strong on the wing, and you let them out and they're gone. So that was probably my biggest learning lesson in my first year was, trying to balance getting the birds out with, weather, springtime if you're going to breed in January, and not losing them because you babied them and left them in the loft too long. So
That is excellent advice. I've had that exact same experience. I get so concentrated on the breeding that I'm letting my first rounds get older and older, and then when it's time to fly, they're too old. They fly away.
Absolutely, and it's, my takeaway was, with loft flying, get the birds out. If they don't like the conditions, they won't fly, or they'll go up and come straight back down and come in. But I always had an excuse, oh, it's too cloudy, it's too windy, it's, too this, The Midwest in March, the weather's all over the place. And I lost a lot of those early birds just loft flying because, they got to be 90 days old on me before they'd really done much flying. And they were just too strong on the wing at that point. So that was probably my biggest takeaway of my first year flying.
Solid advice. Hey, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, James.
All right, so start with your name.
Rick Wolfon. We fly under the Lindbergh Flyers.
Lindbergh Flyers, and where are you located?
Just outside of St. Louis.
That's awesome. Okay, so how did you get started in racing pigeons, and how long have you been doing it?
About 15 years now. I got started, a gentleman that I work with kept bringing the Pigeon Digest in, and I started picking them up and reading them, and I seen all these big money races. So I asked him if he ever entered in any of these races, and he said, no, I don't have the pigeons. I said, well, who do we get the pigeons from? He goes, well, this gentleman by the name of Mike Gannis advertises it in his book all the time. I said, well, let's give him a call. So we call Mike. He sends 4 pigeons to, back then, the Las Vegas race under Ed Sittner. And lo and behold, we win some money. So
nice.
Actually just got hooked.
That's all it took.
Yeah, it did. And we had a lot of fun with it. So
That's
we
fantastic.
really enjoy it.
That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that.
My name is Yunus, original from Iraq.
Originally from Iraq.
Yes,
So,
yes, sir.
so what is pigeon racing like in Iraq?
Oh, now it's they just start racing about 10 years. You know, they fly racing pigeon, and they fly like each member like about 300-400 people now in each club.
Wow.
Yeah. I went there like in 2019, I think. Yeah, and I went there. I helped them for shipping, and yeah, so it's amazing over there. Yeah,
That's amazing.
that's amazing. Yep.
So is it fairly popular then?
Oh yeah. There's too many people over there. Like it's like I told you, like about each club like 300, 400, 200 member.
That's
They
crazy.
for like 20,000. Yeah, about 20,000.
20,000 birds?
Bird, 15,000. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So if you're doing well with that competition, then you've got some good birds
oh, good
and
bird.
you're doing it right.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time
You're
to
welcome.
tell us
You're
a little
welcome.
bit about that.
You're welcome.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. Yeah. No problem.
Okay, so who do we got here?
Hi, my name's Frank Quevedo.
Awesome.
I'm from Nipomo, California, and I'm basically a newbie.
Okay, how long have you been flying?
I've been flying 3 years,
Okay.
and of course, as you know, it takes a lot of work and building your aviaries and learning. And I learned so much from guys like you.
Oh, you're too kind.
Oh yeah, guys like you, and I watched the several videos from guys on YouTube that, oh my gosh, it's a good source.
It is a good source.
It is.
There's a lot of good information out there. Okay, so you've been doing this for about 3 years now. So what advice would you have for new flyers? What have you done that you would do differently, and what have you done that has worked out well for you?
Well, I can tell you what I would do different. Initially, I didn't know who to call, who was selling the best birds, how to get them,
Yeah.
and what I would do different is focus on finding people who sell the best birds. Because there were some birds that I bought that I really didn't know what their pedigree was.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you lose time. So that is a very common thread among professionals, is to buy the best you can afford. That's what I would have done different.
Okay, that's solid advice. Very good advice. Start with the best foundation that you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Gene, where are you from?
St. Peters, Missouri, 20 miles west of St. Louis.
That's awesome. How did you get started in racing pigeons?
Basically a roller guy my whole life, but the Hawks got me into the racing homers because they're a little more durable. Mainly a club racer, but a friend at work got me into the one loft races, and basically here we are now at the Hoosier Classic.
That's fantastic. How many birds do you guys have flying in the Hoosier?
We have 4 left. We had 12 in the beginning, and 4 left in the final.
4 solid gold birds. Okay, they're going to bring it today.
So we're hoping so.
What loft do you guys fly under?
Lindbergh Flyers.
Lindbergh Flyers. Awesome. So, if you had any advice to give to new flyers, what advice would you give?
I would say let the basket do the culling. Pedigrees are nice, but they have to fly. You got to test them out to get the good ones.
That is such solid advice. You always get people who either chase pedigrees or chase a certain bloodline, but when it comes down to it, you've got to know what you've got, and the only way to do that is by flying them, testing them out as either a breeder or in the races.
Yes, and anybody who has flown pigeons know that just because they're a great flyer don't mean they're a great breeder, and vice versa.
Yep, that's true too. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Gene. I really appreciate that. All right, so who do we have here?
Jose Vasquez, how are you?
Jose Vasquez. How long have you had pigeons?
I started pigeons since I was 15 years old, my brother and I. I've had pigeons throughout my life, and I've had them, and I've been competing in clubs and one-off races for the last 25 years, 30 years.
That's awesome. So what advice would you give to a new flyer?
Just find somebody that's local and near your club, or somebody that you could meet on Facebook or anything like that, and they can support you as far as, finding a good flyer that flies in your club and have them mentor you or teach you about, how to select birds and, keep them healthy.
Yeah.
And that's good advice. Just find somebody that's willing to put time to help you improve on the sport.
That's awesome. That's great advice. Awesome. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you too.
All right. Take care.
All right, we got Jose from Firebird Loft. Jose, how long have you had pigeons?
This is my 4th year flying birds. I used to have back in the 90s when I used to be a teenager, but
Yeah.
now that I moved to South Carolina, I have the place and I got the time to raise and breed whatever.
Nice. So, 3 years or so, what would you do differently and what has worked well for you? This might be useful for new flyers. What advice would you have for them?
Dedication, and I think go to flyers that they've been on this sport like for years,
Okay.
and they give you advice and everything, tips, and go to the best flyer on your club and get around him, and
Okay.
he will help you.
Okay.
They will help you.
So find someone in the area who's doing well
Yeah.
and try and get advice. And
Get
help.
verse from them.
Yeah.
Get tips from them. Probably they're not gonna tell you everything 100%. Like in my case, I got Hugh Acreage. He's the best player I think on the club.
Yeah.
He out of 8 races, he probably win 5, and
Okay.
especially the long ones. So he gave me a lot of tips, but probably he not give me the best tips for the longer races. But get around with those guys,
Yeah.
get verse from them, ask questions, and they will help you.
That's awesome. That's great. Hey, thanks for the tip. Firebird Loft. Check out his YouTube channel.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Manny.
Hello, my name is Manny Juarez. I fly as La Morita Loft.
How long have you had pigeons?
I have pigeons since I was a little kid.
Oh, that's cool.
But I never had time to fly them because back in my country, we grow up with not too much money. So
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy a club early in my age. So I started flying pigeons in 2009.
Okay.
And then after that, I haven't stopped.
That's
I
fantastic.
haven't stopped. Yeah.
Once you get going, it's hard to stop, right?
No, that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to a beginner, a new flyer?
Don't get pigeons just to get pigeons for everybody. I think the best way to start pigeons is getting pigeons from those guys that are flying really good in your club.
Okay.
Number one.
Yep.
And then if you got a little bit of money, buy good pigeons from those guys that has really good pigeons. If you're planning to send birds to the one-off races, and then you need a different kind of pigeons for that.
Yep.
Birds that you fly in on a club, it doesn't mean it's going to be good to fly in a one-off race.
Yep.
One-off race is really tough to win, especially when everybody has a really good bird.
Yeah.
It's tough. So you need a really good bird
Okay.
if you want to enjoy one-off races.
Okay, that's great
Yeah.
advice. Hey, thanks for your time.
Not a
Appreciate
problem.
that, man.
Not a problem.
All right, Garden State Classic
It's Garden State Classic. They're located in Hamilton, New Jersey.
2025.
2025. We
Awesome.
starting accepting birds on February 18 to May 18.
Okay.
I hope everybody comes and enjoy us.
Manny was showing me some photos of his loft, and it is beautiful. It is awesome. It's going to be a great setup. So I'm definitely going to be sending some birds there, and hopefully I'll be there for the final.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Manny.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Scott Parrish, you had a good day today. Tell us what happened.
Wonderful day, James. First year at the Hoosier, really, first full year of flying racing pigeons, and we took 10th place today at the Hoosier. So, probably never going to finish this good again, but it's been one heck of a day, and I'm still floating on cloud 9 3 hours later.
That is so cool.
So my bird
Yeah.
clocked exactly 1 minute behind the first place bird.
That's
So
great. And they came in from way up high.
They did.
They were smart and knew how to fly up high to avoid all those winds.
Yeah,
They did
state
good job.
came in right on the line, and
Yep.
I was actually sitting over here on the hill at the time, and kind of watching off to the north, thinking the winds would blow the birds north, and kind of watching for them to come in, and they came in from the southwest right on line, and then the app was slow to update, so actually one of my buddies saw it before me and was row par loft 10th place, and I couldn't. He was ready to celebrate, and I couldn't celebrate till I saw it for myself. And I'm sitting there trying to refresh the app, and finally it refreshed, and I saw it. And it's been a celebration. Just keeps you motivated in the pigeon game.
Yep.
Of trying to keep improving and getting better. And
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, James.
15 months.
15 months in the sport. So.
Boom. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
While we were waiting for birds, there were some kids playing on the grass. I went and got a ball. They appreciated that. All right. Goodbye, Hoosier. It's been awesome.